Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the feeling bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge sent us podcast. Hey.
What?
Larry Lomax is dead.
Oh, you can't be.
Oh.
Why do these things always happen to me? What kind of a host invites you to his house for the weekend and dies on you? Why would he do this, huh? I mean, he had everything. A house, and cars, women. This is tragic. I don't understand why he couldn't wait until Monday to kill himself.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
And today we covered everyone's favorite movie about a lovable corpse, Weekend at Bernie's.
Some like it hard. Do.
Hold the boat. Some like it cold. Good one, guys. This is a pretty terrible movie. Not gonna lie, but for some reason I find it hilarious. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The pacing's weird. Like the big action. I'm still super confused about several things that you'll have to explain to me. I mean, you tried, and I was like, I don't get it. I just zoned it out. I was like, I don't get it, so I'm just gonna pretend I don't. I'm just gonna forget it. It's over. Yeah. So a lot of questions, a lot of sweetie confusion, a lot of things I need explained.
Wow, that's all the same thing.
But is it funny? Well, yes. I mean, I think that Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman do a good job of being funny and being the straight man and the not. What's the not straight man called?
I don't know.
The other guy.
Yeah.
The funny person. I don't know.
Sidekick.
Yeah. They do a nice job, and I think they're the funniest part.
Yeah.
Like their reactions and what they
and their
say.
relationship.
Yes. So that's definitely the best part. But yeah, it's just for some reason I just have a stronger kinship to Weekend at Bernie's too. I don't know why. I think it could be because the ridiculousness is so extreme in that movie that it's what you're getting into maybe.
Yeah.
And he dances, so it's like
because in that one he's like voodoo makes him move, so
to
he
music.
actually is alive,
right?
And if the music stops,
he's
move.
Dead again.
But yeah, if you ever read like highbrow criticism of this movie, I read.
It's such
a
thing.
Let's remember Siskel and Ebert. So like when I googled this,
but they're not highbrow. They reviewed everything,
right? Okay, well,
literally
let's
everything.
say any movie review is like 1.5 stars, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like 20,000 Rotten Tomatoes or whatever the Rotten Tomato like thing is. I always forget how Rotten Tomatoes works. Anyway, so yeah, Siskel and Ebert, they're like, oh man, they gave it like 0 thumbs up. The one joke of this movie being that like everyone thinks that he's still alive. They try to like make it carry like throughout the film, and it just doesn't work. Whereas I'm like, it totally works. This is funny.
Yeah, no, I mean that part is fine. I totally believe it, just because these people are so like shallow. And
exactly, and isn't it supposed to be sort of like a commentary on that life, that society, and
definitely.
that lifestyle, and that class of people?
Yeah, where you're not really paying attention to somebody's life. You just care about the next party or the next car you can buy or whatever.
I mean, this is really a like microcosm of what life in 1989 Manhattan was if you are in the stock markets, or this is like about life insurance is the business that they were in, right?
Just for insurance.
So I could write a paper on it.
Let's do that right away. Yeah. I had something important to say, and now I forget.
Also, forgot to put this say that this movie was from 1989.
Oh,
I think,
the golden
right?
year.
This is the golden year of the cinema for the Sweeties.
Had weekend at Bernie's to the list.
But I just always remember this was always on TV. Like,
Yeah.
it really didn't do that well when it came out, and obviously got really bad reviews.
well, it did well enough to
But-
do a sequel.
Yeah.
So it must
But
have done pretty
But
well.
then with home video, and then this was always on, like, cable. So I feel like it was, again, that, like, UPN network, whatever that was around Boston, like, all these movies played all the time. And that's where I would see it as a little kid and be like, this movie is so funny. Dad, can we rent Weekend at Bernie's? I feel like that was totally one we did.
so weird.
Yeah? Do you remember?
So odd.
When did you first see it?
I don't know, just like on TV, and I remember like the sex scene. I was like, oh god, even though you don't see anything,
No.
you just see her like come into the room.
And that one being like, ooh, chicka, chicka, chicka. I remember that so well. And being like, is that what having sex is like? You come out and you're like, I want to sing this weird song.
Yeah, you do all the work, and someone just lays
I
there.
know, that was a funny joke.
I guess. Was it? We'll talk about it. We'll unpack that one. But okay, yeah. So
Is it
let's
time?
start it.
Is it time?
It's
Time.
Time.
For the Sweetie Synopsis. Yeah.
Sweeties are not dead.
Dead guys.
Nope, not
Real
dead. Larry Wilson and Richard Parker are finance guys. They work at a big insurance company in New York City. They have to work a lot, which I guess is kind of the grunt kind of life.
They
work.
seem to be entry level.
Yes, yeah, entry level.
We don't like question mark how old they are. I'm assuming like a couple years out of college.
Yeah. They're working weekends.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
While Bernie's at his beach house. So they're at the place on the weekend. It's super hot out. They're sad. They're like, this sucks.
That was a really
What's the
funny
line that
scene.
he says? He's like, I'm so upset. I'm so upset or something.
That seems so
You
funny.
gotta look it up.
It's like so hot, and they're like, let's go to the beach. Like, I want to go to the beach. And so like you see them in beach chairs and like sunglasses outside, and Larry's like, I want to go swimming or something. And Richard's like, no, you just ate, you shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. So then it like pans out, and they're actually on the roof, on the top of the building. There's this little kiddie pool. They're in beach chairs. All of like the roof tar that's like, on the top of roofs that
Yes.
like,
Roof tar. Yeah.
yeah, is all melted, and they keep like sticking to it. And it's
funny.
like so hot,
So
they
hot.
can't like be on the roof like that. Like that's why they have the pool. I mean, it was
I
hilarious.
mean, if it's super hot out, I would not go to the roof as my first spot to like cool down,
but
like,
their office like shuts down the air conditioning during the weekends to save money, so it's
Sucks,
hot in
yeah.
the building anyway.
Yeah. So they're reviewing some finance, blah blah, whatever that shit is. I don't know, that on that old computer paper with the little like tear off things on the
Yes, they
side.
Used to make snakes out of
Used
those,
to
like,
make
snakes
little
out of it.
caterpillars
Yes,
out of.
caterpillars.
Yeah. Loved it. So they're reviewing it, and Richard, the kind of straight guy, sensible
Smarter
one, the one who seems to do all the work, spots this error that basically proves is like a $2 million error. So if they find this, they think that they'll be like heroes of the company and they'll get a reward, whatever. So the next week at work, they bring this to Bernie Lomax, who is, I guess, the CEO
Sounds like it.
probably of this company. And at first he's like, this isn't an error, you're wasting my time. And then they explain it further to him, and he goes, oh, you saved us. Let's keep this on the down low. Like, why don't you come to my house on Hampton Island this weekend and come party? And they're like, yeah, cool.
And they're like
woo."
moving on up,
Yeah.
and he's like, that all they thought that like finding this error would be like their rise in the company, right? That
Yep.
they were going to get promoted, like they did this good job, they found this big error, like, and that's all they wanted to do. Like
Yeah.
they're just so sick of being at that entry level, and they're like, how do we move up? So this was their ticket to
Yeah.
promotions and more money, and like living that lifestyle of that Bernie does, which is like crazy cars and like beautiful women with him. And he's this great big office with like 2 bars in it and a bathroom, and it's like,
You need 2 bars.
yeah, I don't know.
Can't walk all the way. It's like too far.
Well,
to walk
one had
to the
like
one.
soda and Perrier in it, and one had booze. Let's
Real
be
stuff.
real.
Okay. Okay. So they go to Hampton.
Well, you missed the part where you figure out what.
Well, right. So Bernie actually is the one responsible for this $2 million error because he's embezzling money or whatever.
Seems like he's working for the mob.
Oh, yeah.
So he's laundering money for the mob, it seems like, or like is tied up with the mob somehow. He meets these like mobsters at this restaurant and he goes, hey, I think we should kill these kids who found out this issue. Like, let's get rid of them. Then, so they hatch this plan that the guys are going to come to his Hampton Island beach house for the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. And then they're going to have a hitman come and make it look like a murder-suicide. So then Bernie leaves the restaurant, and the mobsters are like, nah, like, let's just get rid of Bernie. Like, he's dead weight. Mm-hmm. So unbeknownst to Bernie, he's actually the target of the hit.
Mm-hmm. So Larry and Richard take the ferry. They get to the island earlier than anticipated because they didn't want to miss the parties. Bernie's waiting at his house. The guy that he thinks is coming to kill them, Larry and Richard, comes but actually kills Bernie with this weird shot of something.
Poison syringe, some toxin. He dies immediately. So Bernie
dangerous
is
stuff.
dead.
He's dead.
He's
dead. Larry and Richard show up. They're like, oh, this is a great house. There's like babes and bikinis everywhere. They're having a great time. They open a bottle of champagne. They see Bernie in the chair. They come over, they're like, Bernie, hey, we're here. They think that he's completely wasted, trashed, whatever. They're like, all right, let's get you to the couch. They find some drugs in his pocket, and then they're kind of like, wait a minute, like, he's really not moving. Find out, bad news, he did.
He rolled dead. But then
dead.
A party erupts around them.
Immediately. It's not even nighttime yet, and there's parties happening. So all these people, like, swarm the house. It's a floating party. Which I guess is like a...
You float around different houses, I guess?
I guess.
That's what
or like it's always at this time or something.
I just took it as like it's that same group of people that just move around to people's different houses on that strip.
Seems like such a... And then you have to clean up all the shit that they leave. I don't know. It seems like a terrible deal.
Very messy.
Terrible deal. So everyone's there. Nobody notices that Bernie's dead. They even try telling some guy like, he's dead. Like, excuse me, he's dead. He's like, of course he is. That's the point. Right. Like, they're thinking he's totally drunk or something. So they just have this party with Bernie there. Everyone leaves all of a sudden. I'm like speed this part of the nonsense up because I don't think that part, the girl part's important.
Oh, okay.
This woman comes over, his girlfriend.
Well, it's only important the fact that they decide not to tell anyone that he's dead. They're going to make it like seem like he's alive.
They feel like if they tell the police, they will immediately become suspects and be charged with the murder. Which I'm always like, if you didn't do it, then
always a movie like this just makes you be like, always just call the police.
Yeah,
don't try to rationalize
there's
it.
There's like, really not enough evidence.
They will figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, why would you call the police if you killed them? I mean, I guess that is some like people's deal
it's always
when they
the
kill
first
somebody.
Suspect. Sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
But
you just say we got to the house.
Yeah,
he was dead.
He was dead.
Oops. And they would have other ways of tracing it, like who did this guy know? Blah 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 blah. They would have found out. Anyways, so they decide to keep it a secret, and Richard's like, okay, we'll call them in a couple hours, and they keep pushing it off. But a series of events unfold throughout the night, which kind of makes things more complicated. Richard's very tired. He goes on this date with this intern. He's like, I'm just going to go to sleep for a couple hours, and then he passes out, sleeps all night. So now it's the next morning, and Larry has turned Bernie into like a dead puppet. Just hooks his arm up to a string so he can wave to people when they're walking by, makes it look like he's alive, that kind of thing. So Richard kind of flips out. He's like, we have to call the police. And so he's about to, and then they find the answering machine message where Bernie is saying, make sure I'm not here when you kill them. I need an alibi or whatever. So they're like, what the fuck? He was going to kill us. So now... apparently they get on to the thing where he was trying to frame them for the money that they stole, and then was going to make it seem like they were gay lovers, and that Larry kills Richard and then kills himself. Yeah. Okay, so now this is the part I don't understand, which is then they decide we have to get somebody's coming to kill us. We have to get off of the island
because they think they're still.
But why does Bernie need to come off the island? Like, why do they need to take him everywhere?
Because they hear Bernie say on the phone, "Don't kill them while I'm around. I need an alibi." So that means to them, as long as Bernie is around, aka alive, they will not kill us because Bernie needs an alibi. Bernie can't be around them when they die. or else it's going to look like he's involved.
Okay.
So they know if they keep Bernie around, no one will try to kill them. So then they decide that they do need to get off the island because someone is going to come and kill them because they know they're on the island.
Okay.
So they have to get off the island, but they have to keep Bernie with them.
Okay.
So they hop on their little like scooter. What are those? Like golf carts, but Bernie has this like really cool one that looks like a fancy car. Because it's an island, there's no cars, just these like little golf carts, let's say. They try to get on the ferry, like don't make it on the ferry. They figure out that's our favorite line. Hold the boat. And it's like one of my favorite things. They like tie his shoelaces, Bernie's shoelaces with their shoelaces. And so when they each walk, it's like a three-legged race almost like. And you're like walking, but then they have to start running with him. And it's like this hilarious like little jog that they're all doing together with like Bernie like attached to their legs. It's so funny. So they miss the boat, but then they remembered Bernie has a boat. So then they like get his boat. They don't know how to drive it. So there's all this like shenanigans that happen with that. But unfortunately, the boat runs out of gas. So then they have to use Bernie as a literal dead man float and take him as like a flotation device on, I mean, they have life jackets, but like to shore. So they get back home and they're like, okay, finally time to call the police. Like this is getting ridiculous. Call the police, but then...
But what was the plan there? Like, they were going to call the police and be like, we found him dead, and then carried him around for 2 days?
So then now they're in much hotter water. Like, you're right. Good thing the assassin came. So the other kind of backstory is that the guy who originally killed Bernie, because they are faking that Bernie is dead, this guy keeps thinking that Bernie is not dead and that he hasn't killed him. So he has to keep coming back and killing him. So he kills him the first time for real with the injection of whatever he did. And then he strangles him to death. And then the third time, he finally shoots him like 8 times in the chest. And he finally thinks he's killed him.
In front of Larry and Richard.
Right.
And Richard's
so now Larry and Richard are really in trouble and are going to get killed because now they're a witness to the original murder. But they're not trouble
to Bernie's death anymore. Because now it's like, that guy shot him.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, so then there's a big scuffle. They like trap this guy. The police come. They take Bernie's body away. They get this assassin to the mental institution because he still thinks Bernie's alive, even though he shot him full of bullets. Everything is good except the ambulance, super shoddy EMT work here. Bernie just goes flying off the boardwalk and lands in the sand by them, and they're like, oh shit.
Well, it's just like the law enforcement when they finally end up calling the police. They're like,
what?
The sheriff's on the beach right now. Can he call you back?
Not sure when he'll be back.
Yeah, that place is a shit show.
So it ends like, ha ha ha, good times. And that's kind of it. So
that is this amazing,
wild and
film.
Crazy.
It's kind of like ridiculous to explain, obviously, as it should be.
Super ridiculous.
Trying to convince everyone that a dead man is alive, but it's pretty funny. I think a lot of the jokes are funny. Like as we said, the Andrew McCarthy, Jonathan Silverman friendship dynamic, and also like their kind of funny lines and their reactions to things are so funny. And like, I guess like the Bernie stuff does get old, and you're like, okay, there's no way like people would think he's just like wasted all the time, unless he was wasted all the time. So this is my question.
Which I don't think he was.
So to pull this off, like I know you said, which was really smart, which I didn't even think of, like it's just that these people are shallow and like really don't even listen to when people talk or like have any interest
pay attention
in anyone's
to
lives. They're all just interested in money and partying and like whatever. So that's, I think, really the answer. But my initial thought was like, okay, is this guy just not a big conversationalist because people talk to him and he doesn't say anything ever? B, a really bad drunk / drug addict because he's passed out all the time and falling around and sleeping and whatever, and no one even blinks an eye. And C, bad in bed because someone has sex with him. He doesn't move or talk or make any noise, and she comes out like completely satisfied and she's had an orgasm. Like, honey,
I mean, well, a few
get
things.
something better going on.
Like, from what we see when Bernie is alive, which, by the way, is the weirdest fucking part of this movie, to see Bernie walking and talking. You're like, what is happening?
He's really a much better actor when he's dead. I hate to break it to that guy.
He wasn't. I mean, he seemed to talk a lot, it seemed like to me.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense.
He was like a hot shot.
So you're right. That's odd. In the beginning, when Larry and Richard go to talk to him about this error that they find, he leaves the room for a second. It's literally like 5 seconds, and then he comes back. And watching it this time, we're like, oh, he just did a line of coke, but he was fine. Like, it didn't.
I mean, he just kept opening his eyes really big.
Yeah.
Like he had
so it
jolt of coffee.
doesn't say to me that he's somebody that passes out and whatever. So yeah, those things don't check out. The sex thing, that lady was also super drunk.
Yeah,
I think.
That's true.
So that could be part of it. But still, like, to not have somebody moving at all. Or to like like, I mean, he had rigor mortis, I guess, in just his penis. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd thing.
I mean, but I think that was the joke. So then Larry makes that joke, like, I get yelled at when I just lay there, being like a joke perhaps about men, that they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna like sit here and like let all the women do all the work, like, which is not obviously a lot of people experience this, but
yeah, interesting.
I think I've just sat there sometimes too. You're on the bottom.
Well, you're like, okay,
when is this over?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, watching it this time, I was like, okay, well, of course they don't think he's dead, because he's super alive, obviously, because he's an actor and he's alive in this role.
Right.
If this were real life, Bernie would have shit himself.
Yep.
Would have had rigor mortis like 3 hours in, maybe less.
Would have like
Wouldn't be able
zero
to move.
color in his face.
Right, would be super pale, would be stinking pretty soon, especially in that heat. Yeah. It is summer. So...
And he was like in the ocean for a long time. It would have been
if
so
it was
bloated.
real life, people would definitely have known.
They should do a real life.
Just want to point that out.
They should do like what's that, like Mythbusters, where they like myth bust.
Can you guys make a guy
like actually use a dead body and see how long? But if you're,
a fresh one though.
I thought this movie lasted. This is Labor Day weekend. It takes place. I thought it lasted throughout Labor Day weekend, but it's literally a day. It is just Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, but Saturday, like, into evening. Like, it's almost, I would say, it's like, almost evening.
So it's like Saturday at, like, dinner time. But still, they got there Friday at dinner time. So it's literally 24 hours.
Still, like, a body starts decomposing, like, pretty soon after.
But I just always thought it was so much
it's
longer.
Not refrigerated. So, which begs the question, how in the second one, he's still not decomposing at all, and he's in a morgue. Like, I forget
does the second one happen right after this one?
Well, that's what I want to find out. Like, I forget the timeline.
I thought they're older. Well, it has to, because...
Well, if he's in the morgue, he's on ice, I guess. But then they get his body... Oh, no, the voodoo people get it.
Why?
But then how do they meet up with Richard and Larry again?
Because they're on a business trip to...
I think the voodoo people just randomly pick him out of the morgue. They're like, we need a dead person, because the spell is that when you play this music, the dead person will lead you to treasure. So the treasure's happens to be on the island that Larry and Richard go to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't wait to watch it. It's so bizarre. But yeah, So obviously it's not realistic. Yeah, sure, it's a movie, whatever. But yeah, it's a little like, okay, guys, all right, yeah. That was my 2 cents.
Good one. Another movie where the ease of coke, I like to call it, of late 80s movies, early 90s movies, how prevalent that was in like super rich culture. I'm like thinking of like Crocodile Dundee, like this one. Didn't we watch something else recently that had like one of the ones that had like a big coke thing?
Big coke thing. I don't know.
But I just feel like that's something like, and I remember in like once my college had like a ton of rich kids, and I remember that was a really big thing in like when I went to school.
You got money, you get coke.
I still have like never seen coke and
really
have never done it. And,
everyone in California does coke constantly.
I know. So. It's crazy. So now it's like so much more laid back, and I feel like regular like normal people can function. It's like a party thing, which it was kind of then too.
Yeah,
I don't think, but like Bernie was using it pretty like often. If he's doing it at work,
that's what he did.
That's what they did.
That's what you do. It's not like, I don't think
coffee.
It doesn't last that long.
Yeah,
right?
but I thought it's always been sort of like a party drug.
Not if if you really like the way it makes you feel or whatever. Yes. It's called addiction, Sweetie. Look into it. Question. So Jonathan Silverman, he was in that show, that sitcom called The Single Guy. Okay, yeah. So that and Caroline in the City were around the same time, right? Like those kind of people.
Yeah. Remember his
city.
friend? I just remember his friend was like he had like a married couple friend, and it was the woman who was Susan's lover. on on Friends. Susan
Friends.
Ross's
Seinfeld?
No, Friends.
Susan George's wife?
No. Susan is the lesbian, but Carol Ross's wife,
okay.
and she marries Susan.
Right.
And then, but she is like Jonathan Silverman's friend because he's like this married couple friend. Do you remember?
I remember we liked that show and we watched it. And I remember the beginning, he's like on a bench.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But it was on so that was on at 8 and Caroline in the City was on at like 8:30.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man, good times.
Yeah, but I don't know where that guy went or like what he's
Did you
doing
get confused about Seinfeld because of the episode where Elaine goes to the video store and like she keeps the episode is she loves the pics that this movie store guy Vincent makes. So she's always getting his movies and loves them. And then one day Kramer's in there and he's like, "Why don't you go try Carl's pics here? Oh, look, Weekend at Bernie's too." And then she's like, "Oh, okay, fine." And she like takes it home and she's like, "This is terrible." And then Vincent is super mad at her and sends her his VCR button in the mail and is like, "This is over."
God, I love that.
And then
show.
she's like, "Okay, I take it back.
Do you
Like,
remember that?
I'll bring you back one of your pics." So he's like, "Okay, like meet me at this address and bring vodka, like and this other stuff." And it's a kid,
16-year-old. Oh my God. But remember
Good
that at
episode.
Blockbuster?
Yeah.
They had those.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And there was one person you always like super gelled with in terms of like your movie picks.
Well, sure, because we all have our different picks.
I know.
And,
So good.
Like obviously everyone would love our picks.
Yeah. We
Just
have
gonna
the best
say.
shelf ever. They'd be
I'm
like,
just gonna say.
so like, what are the sweeties picking this week?
We can have Bernie's.
Yeah,
Look
what if we
who's
had
talking too.
what if we
Ours
had-
would only be the bad sequels.
What if we had a video store, but like we also had this podcast? So like every week when we had our podcast movies, we'd like feature that.
You pitched a video store idea a few episodes ago, and it wasn't a good business plan. So I think if you
remember,
change it and make it a real movie store.
But remember, it's only my side hobby business. And it's only open 2 hours a day, so it doesn't like interfere with my actual job.
Well, hopefully, if you would actually make money on this store, you wouldn't need your actual job.
Who makes money on a video store?
I don't know. We're gonna revolutionize. They're bringing it back. People love VHS. It's like a collector's thing now. It's pretty stupid.
No, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be like a video store, but it's not like you physically rent anything. Like all the boxes will be there, so it'll be like old times, but you bring it to me and I give you a code to download the movie like you do from Amazon or whatever. So it's like the video store experience.
Okay.
So, it's not convenient at all, but you get the nostalgia from the video store.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to track down all those video boxes.
That would be the coolest thing.
It'd be hard. Because
we've talked about, like, we've been reviewing these movies that, like, one of the things that sticks with us is the video box at the movie store when we used to go, and we would get the same movies all the time. I mean, this is why we're doing this podcast. Like, we've watched every movie 100 times.
Yep.
So that just sticks with you.
know,
And now you don't have that.
I know.
Could you tell me what any movie poster of any movie in the last 10 years is?
no, not really. No.
Boom.
No.
Dude, it's going to happen. It's my retirement thing.
Okay, good. All right. Well, make sure you write it down and keep it somewhere so that we remember.
It's all up here.
Well, you say that, but I feel like we've gone through a lot of ideas in the past. It's
okay.
Now we don't remember
I'm just
them.
spitballing.
Okay. So, question for you. Which of Bernie's possessions would you want to own? Here are a few. His sweet boat, his amazing golf cart, his sweet car, which is like a Maserati or whatever, or his beach house. I'll throw in the Liechtenstein.
I hate Liechtensteins are ugly. I'm going to go with, if I could drive it on the road, the little golf cart.
Yes, me too.
Totally.
Me too.
Because the house is ugly. I don't even know what that is. I hate that modern, weird fucking designs. Like, beautiful beach house, and it's like, it looks like a factory. I mean, it's like weird.
No, well, it's weird on the outside too.
Yeah.
Like it's every other house is a normal house, I feel like, and his is a square, like dumb house.
Yeah,
it looks
it's
like it looks like Cameron's dad's car garage and Ferris
Well,
Bueller.
It's not like Art Deco, is it? Was that like style of like weird
I don't know.
slanty shaped things?
There's
and, like,
a lot of sectional
bold, gray,
yeah.
neutral colors.
There's a lot of sectional
Sectional
sofas, a lot of that tacky 90s, 80s, 90s
the
decor.
Like fake flowers
Yes.
and like weird
And the,
geometric
yes, the
paintings.
geometric
Yeah.
or geometric, like not flowers. No,
Sculptures?
not fake flowers. It was like fake sticks.
Yes.
Like here's a vase with some sticks.
What that was. Like we just obviously
So
like,
weird.
Our mom was like so into like country, like Americana, like country style, like decor and stuff. So obviously like we never had any of that.
Another 80s, 90s thing that I need you to please explain to me the phenomena of, or what is the purpose of a bikini with socks and sneakers. I'm very confused about
I
this
still
look.
see people at the beach when I go in the summer with those like Adidas shower sandals with like the little cushy things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like guys wear
Sandals.
with socks
What?
on. Yes, that is a thing because I don't think people don't like to get their feet sandy. It's like
Okay.
a thing.
But the sneakers, but she was going on she came for the boat, right? She came in to like get the
Yeah, maybe she had
keys.
just gone. Yeah, but this is like the era where there was flip flops was like not a thing.
Yeah.
Flip flops are like everyone's entire life. You wear them like all year round, even though it's
weird.
cold. Flip flops, I feel like did not get a resurgence until like we were kids, and even then it was kind of like people wore their fucking Reeboks and Nikes everywhere with those weird tube socks. Like even Larry has purple Converses with these crazy tube socks.
But he wasn't wearing a bathing suit.
Remember, like you did the scrunch with your socks. Like Liz will remember this.
Yes,
'cause
yes,
she
yes,
was
yes.
a crazy sock like scruncher. You would have these like long, like you could pull them up to your knee, but you would scrunch them down. So it was like this. You all had like these crazy cankles.
I did this
What
thing.
was
I did the other thing, which I don't know if this was a thing, but I like rolled them down.
Yes, the roll. And it had to be a perfect roll. And you had to like
looks so
master the
stupid.
roll. I know.
What does that look?
I don't even wear socks now. I mean, this is where I am. Like literally, I do not wear socks. I hate
I
them.
only wear socks when I wear my boots, but
Yeah.
like
But sneakers, other than like
no, I wear socks, but like the shortest ones that you can get,
Yes,
where like
exactly.
it doesn't look like you're
I don't
wearing
even wear
socks.
socks with like casual sneakers. I'll wear them with obviously I'm running.
This is why all of her shoes smell very bad.
Yes, my shoes don't smell good, but I don't like socks, and my feet don't get cold. So I'm not like, oh, I have cold feet.
It's not because of the cold; it's because you get blisters and stuff.
I don't get blisters.
Well, good for you and your father, because
Yeah, good
that's
for us.
normal. Okay, you shoot. You say something.
All right. Do floating parties. I have a little bit of beef with anyone who has a pool when they live on the beach. Like, fuck you with that whole thing.
No,
I hate
that's.
it.
I mean, that's ideal for me because
Oh, you don't like to go swimming.
well,
in the
right.
ocean.
Like, I'm afraid of the ocean of sharks, and I get very hot. I love sitting at the beach, so I would do the thing where I'd be like, okay, I'm on the beach, I'm
And then
lying,
jump
have a
in the
good time. Oh, it's hot.
Yeah.
Just go over here, a couple steps to my pool, jump in. Ideal.
I know. That's just not my thing. I love the dunk at the beach, so I won't go swimming for a long time because the water is cold. But one of the best things is to get so hot and then jump in the cold, cold water and then have to come right back out, and then you're like perfect
Yeah,
temperature
not
and
into
then
it.
tanning. It's awesome. Summer, come to me. I want to talk a little bit about the love interest in this film. Her name is Gwen. She's supposedly, I'm guessing, a senior because she has a summer internship, and that's how she meets Richard at the insurance company. Her father knows Bernie. So she's like a beach house on this Hampton Island, and that's why they end up meeting up not only in New York City, but like on Hampton Island. She's the oldest 21-year-old I have ever seen in my entire life. She looks 35 at least. But all the women in this movie are scantily clad with these bikinis. No one is wearing clothes almost ever, the women. Mostly thong bottoms, like crazy boobs, like long hair, whatever. Little girl, Gwen here, her first outfit in the Hamptons is like a pair of culottes, a collared long sleeve shirt, and then like a big bulky sweater that she ties around her shoulders and a French braid. Her beach outfit is a one-piece bathing suit with a giant old lady straw hat and a cover-up.
It's not just a cover up. It's an old lady. It's an old man sweater.
So what are they trying? I don't understand like what they're trying to do with that character.
Maybe they were trying to make a cool fashion statement. I don't know.
Is she? But was it to be like? Because she talks about I don't really have like a lot in common with these people when she goes to the party. So
Yeah.
she's supposed to be like
To make her
the
different.
anti-Hampton.
Responsible, sane. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, what is going on with that? I mean, I get it, but what?
Yeah.
dude, live your life.
Weird fashion choices for sure.
Well, she did have she had a cute dress on when she was in New York City, though.
Her city, maybe those were her city clothes.
Maybe she's a different person in the city.
Caroline in the city?
No, maybe when Gwen comes like to her parents' house, she has to be all like conservative because she's around
Island chic, vineyard vines.
Yeah. Seems like a cool place, Hampton Island, though. I would like to go there. Though it was like a weird old person crowd. It was like old rich people who drink too much and do drugs. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah, not sure.
And
about
like
that.
slutty girls.
A lot of slutties.
Sloots. Question for you.
Okay.
Would you be able to sleep in a house with a dead person?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't scare me. Would I get to take him around town?
No,
prior to sleeping?
No, I'm just thinking like when they're like, okay, like we're gonna put Bernie to like in his room, and then like he passes out on the couch downstairs.
Sure.
Like you would be creeped out about that?
I don't think so. I mean, it's just a body. The body is just a vessel, and your soul leaves. So it's not really scary.
Like, a little creeped out.
So you would never live above a funeral home or anything.
No, and I always think that when I see funeral homes, or even like,
I mean, what are you afraid
of?
of?
The funeral home that's like right over here.
Yeah, they're
like,
all houses with
and their houses next door, and I'm like, oh, is that like really weird? No, there's like all these dead bodies in the basement. I don't know.
Not really. I mean, it's just a thing. It becomes your like you. I watched 6 Feet Under this fall, and it's just such a normal thing after a while. And like,
well, they're not going anywhere.
And even watching it, right? And they're not going to hurt you. It's
I mean,
not like
I have a little Veda Sultanfuss in me where I'm like a little bit scared of the dead bodies. Exactly. I mean, yes, I don't think they're gonna like zombie up and like come alive, but yeah, it's a little creeps. It's a little creep town.
I guess I'm not sure.
Creep Nation.
I don't think it's that weird. Good question though.
Yeah, thanks.
I would like to say that Bernie's such a little shit. Like he's short. He's not like. I mean, I get the appeal is probably solely because he's rich.
Yes, that's what angers me.
But
just
it annoys me.
Yeah, I just can't wait for that time to be over, which it never will be.
What time?
When you have a lot of money, like you can basically do whatever you want, and that's gross.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Also, we noticed really bad. What is that called? Like sound mixing, I guess, or like when you match up the words with the audio with the visual sound editing. Like everyone's voices were off from the lips movement. And when we first saw Bernie on screen talking, we were like, oh, maybe he was just a body actor and they got somebody to do his voice because it never matched up with his lips. And it's so distracting. And it happens throughout the movie to other people too. So it's just shoddy work there. So interesting.
Maybe that guy got fired or
we'll see how the sound is in Weekend at Bernie's Chew.
Yeah, I don't
be continued.
Remember noticing it ever, but I guess now that when you watch it this close, it just comes about. What was I going to say? Unfortunately, no Sweetie alums in this film, right?
Really?
Sad. Probably one of our first ones.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's no
super sad.
Even like people that became famous after this sort of a thing. It's just no one. And like,
Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah. But Andrew McCarthy, I read, is like doesn't really act anymore, though he is written. So he wrote like stuff for the National Geographic Channel and wrote a bunch of episodes of Orange is the New Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jonathan Silverman sort of does more producing and directing these days. My friend, he was in a movie that my friend was like moderating a panel on, and she met him, and she was like, he's super nice, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, he just had like, I feel like he had a little rise in like the early 90s, and then I don't know what happened to him.
Time.
Sort of is like a poor man's David Schwimmer.
Yes, yeah.
I always confuse them. I'm like,
Yes.
And speaking of poor man, so I want to play the game I was wanting to discuss. I discussed with you earlier today.
Okay.
So we're gonna play a little game because I always confuse Andrew McCarthy and Emilio Estevez. So we're gonna play a little game right now called Emilio or Andrew.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Mighty Ducks.
Emilio.
Breakfast Club.
Emilio.
Joy Luck Club.
Andrew.
Pretty in Pink.
Andrew. It's not that hard. Only you have this problem, apparently.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Andrew.
What's that one where he played like Emilio Estevez is like a garbage?
Emilio.
Might be him and Charlie Sheen are like garbage men.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know that one.
Yeah. I don't know. What are other Emilio Estevez movies?
Mighty Ducks 2. Mighty Ducks 3. G3.
The Outsiders, his name? Emilio Estevez in that one?
I don't know, man.
Anyway.
Good game.
Good game. Good game. You passed. You got all of them.
it.
But you don't think they look alike and are similar
No.
in their serious roles?
Emilio looks like Emilio.
Emilio looks like Martin Sheen.
Wait, is their real name is Estevez, right? And they changed it to Sheen. Charlie and
No, I thought
Martin
Estevez
changed it.
No. I think Estevez is the mom's maiden name.
Whose name is Sheen? I think they just
Martin.
made that up.
No, I think Martin Sheen is Martin Sheen.
No,
Charlie
they
just
changed
kept
their
it
names
Sheen.
because Charlie's name is actually like Carlito Estevez.
It's Hispanic?
Look this up. Even though, I mean, I didn't want to bring this up, but I thought it was interesting how Sweetie and I were totally focused on the Skarsgård people. We were like, there's so many Skarsgård. Like, let's list them all.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
And we
you're right.
included Peter,
my
who's
God.
not a Skarsgård. He's a Sarsgaard. Different.
Yeah. Wow. Really glad we cleared that up before
Yeah.
we talked to someone at a party and they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's completely."
I could have
different
convinced
person."
anyone.
Yeah, you were on it. You're totally right.
Oh.
So his name, so Martin Sheen's name is Ramon Antonio Gerard Estevez.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's complicated.
That's funny. Oh my God.
What about Charlie? It's interesting that Emilio kept his.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he wanted to like Carlos Irwin Estevez. Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus. Oh, sorry. And the mom's name is Janet.
That's her last name?
No, Janet Templeton. I had to like reverse. Like, there's no way Martin Sheen is like
It's
Hispanic.
eyes before eats,
That's
except after
weird.
tea. Oh, man. Wow. See, you learn something new every day. Every day.
Martin Sheen.
Hey, still kicking. It's fine.
Martin Sheen.
He played Kennedy. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, it's a simple film.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to talk about except that it's like really bad but really good. Favorite scene? Do you have a favorite scene you want to discuss?
I mean, I think the initial party scene when everybody comes in and it's very chaotic and just the fact that nobody cares that he's dead, I think is probably my favorite. Or the beginning scene on the rooftop. Any scene where Andrew McCarthy gets to really shine in his silly comedic skills really spoke to me. I'll tell you what my not favorite scene is. There's a couple, but the main one is the lighthouse scene. I'm always like, snooze fest.
It's funny because he fell down the stairs, but that's about it.
Maybe. Or like their date in the beginning is not good until the dad comes into the kitchen in his underwear. He tells her that he doesn't want to say that he lives with his parents. So he's like, oh, I live alone and my parents died. So when he lies, he doesn't just say like a little lie. He goes all
crazy.
like weird, like way over there.
And we just couldn't figure it out because we're like, do you want to date this girl? Because you're eventually going to have to be like, ha ha, I was totally kidding. My parents aren't dead. Like, I live with them. Like, be my girlfriend. I don't know what his end
I
game
know.
there
It
was.
seemed like he did.
Because I think he really liked her.
Yeah. Confusing. So, well, I'm pretty sure they're not together in the second one. Right?
It didn't work
I forget
out.
who the love interest
Relationships
is.
never work in extreme trauma or like events like that. If you fall in love in traumatic circumstances, in most cases, it's not going to work.
I know. There was a shootout. They almost died like 10 times.
Right.
Good thing that guy was a crappy shot.
Yeah. Well, he was hopped up on coke, so.
Oh,
blame him. He
God,
also
I
had
missed all the coke doing
There's
in this
so
film. I
much
totally missed it.
So much coke doing.
I mean, I had no clue
maybe
when I
because
was
you were
little.
doing coke.
I've never done coke, so that's not true.
You like Coca-Cola?
Not really anymore. Now I drink seltzer.
Oh, yeah,
so,
that's right.
so it's different. It's different now.
Yeah. My favorite scene is the vacuum scene. So they like bring him in and he's been covered with sand because this little boy had like buried him. He's like, Mister, can I bury you? And of course he doesn't say anything. So the kid buries him. So they bring him into the house. He's like covered with sand. And they decide the best way to get rid of him is to vacuum. So Larry is like manically brushing him with a broom while Richard is vacuuming him. So then they get to his head and they vacuum his hair and it comes off because it's a toupee. So then he's bald and they're like, wow, imagine that. I didn't even notice. So then they have to staple it back on. And then they give him like these like kind of lady looking sunglasses, which I guess were Larry's sunglasses. But then my second favorite is when they go on the boat.
Yeah, hold the boat.
Yeah. So I think it's comedy gold. I think you gotta not think a lot about it and just laugh.
But certainly it's slapstick
Yeah.
in a way. A lot of the Bernie stuff. So yeah.
Hold the boat.
I don't know why. Like we really
But then
talked
when they're
that
on
part
the
up.
boat, when they get the motorboat, there's all those other boat things where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
coming back around. We're coming back with the boat.
He's like
Stop the boat!
knocking the buoy things and just the chaos of
Slow down the boat.
yeah. They're like could have killed at least 10 people in that scene alone. So dangerous.
I love like the fake water skiing part. So he like falls off the back of the boat and it looks like he's water skiing. So everyone's like, yeah, Bernie.
But it doesn't.
Go.
But it doesn't look like he's water skiing because there's not any skis. It looks like he's dead.
He goes over like a jump.
It looks like a dead guy is trailing behind the boat, which is what is the case.
And then he hits all these channel markers and it's making like this ringing sound. They're like, what's that? Did you hear that? So then they like pull him back in and they have to like, he's all like waterlogged and like they pull him in and Larry's like, oh, like thinking like, he has this horrible injury or like his nose has fallen off or like something gross. And Richard's like, what? And he's like, he lost my sunglasses. Because he was like fucking water skiing.
They look like women's sunglasses anyways, Larry.
Yeah, get some new ones.
Yeah, don't cry about it.
Anyways, I hope you guys remember and like and laugh at Weekend at Bernie's as much as we did. Big news. Our next episode is number 50.
Oh my God.
So that's a huge milestone for us. Congratulations. You wanted a handshake? That seems way informal for us.
I was doing a high five.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't loud at all.
Woo!
It's a good one. Ow. My hand burns.
Can you believe
Yeah, we
it?
did
Can you
it!
believe it's 5-0, sweetie?
I can't.
I know.
It seems like just yesterday.
I know.
We were young children starting our podcast journey.
We've come leaps and bounds. We have so many followers, and
We hit 1,500 downloads this month.
Downloads. So we're just on the up and up. So I think as we told you all, we were going to be doing the Goonies. The Goonies, if you didn't hear it from my awesome accent, for our 50. So
Yep.
look forward to that next week.
Big episode, our big 5-0.
And thank you for listening as
Thank
always.
you. And big congratulations to Sweetie, who has made it as a contestant on Jeopardy. She did it, you guys.
Woo!
So we will be going to LA April 24th through the 26th, and it's going to be great. So watch out for Sweetie. We'll let you know when it airs. But we're very excited, and we'll keep you posted on the sitch. We'll do a lot of posts on the road.
Yeah. Sweeties Take LA.
Sweeties Take LA. Here we go. So thank you for listening. Catch you next time. Bye.